back to my channel. I want to talk about Candice and Andrew in the last episode of Love During Lockup, because the way she did this, man, was cold. So they didn't start off the episode on a very good foot. Candice seemed really irritated just from Andrew's pure existence, and she was having Andrew drive her around to take care of some errands. She had to go register as a felon, and she called up one of her girlfriends, and I guess she has plans to hang out with her later. And then while they're in the car, Andrew, he is around his girl and he's excited, so he wanted to hold his girl's hand. So he was like reaching over, trying to let Candice know, like, hey, I'm trying to hold your hand. And she like just pulls away with pure disgust and said, can you please not do that? And he was confused. He's like, what do you mean? And she's like, you're just doing too much right now. Come on, we're at the place pulling up. We don't need to be holding hands. I felt really bad for Andrew in that moment, because that really has to affect his self-esteem. The fact that she won't even hold hands with her man who has done all this for her. And then they go out to eat, and she's sitting there eating, and she starts telling Andrew, our whole relationship is crumbling. Andrew was kind of confused, because here she is just suddenly acting like she wants to end the relationship, and she wasn't direct in saying that. She's like, well, I just think I need to do this without as much help. And Andrew was like, okay, I'll just back up for a little minute and give you your space, but I still want to be with you. Let's just have some time apart from each other. And when he said that, she looked like she was dying inside, because she was really hoping that he would just be like, okay, let's go our separate ways. She was really hoping she was going to get off the easy way and Andrew would just back off, and that was not happening. He was not going to give up without a fight. He's like, I know you want your space, but I'm not going to do that. That's what your old boyfriends did, and I'm going to be different. And Candice looks so depressed. And then finally, the dinner was over with. They get back in her truck, and he's driving her some well-cared place. And she was so stressed out in the car. She's like, I need you to pull over right now. She had a smoke or a cigarette, and she just started saying everything that was on her mind. She said, look, I need you to back off, and I'm going to do it by myself. I can't do this right now. You're triggering the hell out of me. But he's such a trigger to her, but he wasn't a trigger to her when he was putting all this money on her book. After they left the restaurant, Andrew asked Candice, do you still love me? And she said yes. So he's still thinking that there's hope for this relationship. And then once they get out while she's smoking, she's pretty much telling him, no, I need to do this by myself. I need you to back off. I need you to go back home. And Andrew was like, are you sure you don't just need a break for a while? And she's like, no. And I respect her for at least telling him straight up and not giving him any more hope, hey, I don't want to continue this, because she could have easily said, oh yeah, we'll just go on a break for a while. But she does not want to continue and drag this out any more than she has to. So she told him, but then she turned around and gave him hope again, because he starts asking about the apartment and the truck. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? And she's like, well, you can take back the truck if you want. We can figure out the apartment. But let's be honest, I feel like he's probably going to go back home, and she's going to lead him on as long as possible to get him to continue paying for those things and letting her keep those things until he finally is either demanding either you see me or I cut you off. She's going to take advantage of him as long as she possibly can. And she told him at the end when he asked her, well, you still love me though, right? And she's like, yeah. Once again, still giving him hope. So I think he's gonna leave the truck with her, because he thinks that she just needs some time to herself because she's overwhelmed, when in reality she just does not want anything to do with him, and she's disgusted by him. Then they have a confessional with Candice, and they're like, okay, were you using Andrew? And Candice could not hold it back. She could not keep a straight face. She was smiling and grinning, and you could read it all over her face. That girl was using Andrew. And she said, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get ahead in life. So she'll step on whoever's toes. And, you know, those are the type of people you got to watch out for because they're dangerous. They don't care about nobody else but themselves. Classic narcissistic behavior. And she really doesn't show much empathy at all for what she put Andrew through, leaving. Just like I predicted, she chewed this poor man up and spit him right out. She kept him around and got everything she needed off him, and she didn't need anything else, and then kicked him to the curb. And this is why you don't give someone everything up front, because she didn't have to work for anything. She didn't have to give him no coochie. All she had to do was give him a few pecks. She wouldn't even hold his hand half the time and was disgusted and was like 6 feet social distancing from him at most times. And she got all this handed to her, and he's probably gonna let her have it for a while. But like I showed in my last video, she was posting selling an extra car she had on OfferUp because she needed to move into a new apartment, and this is right after her and Andrew broke up. So it does sound like he at least kicked her out, or, you know, got something figured out to where she wasn't allowed to live there anymore. She used him for a ride for a few days to go register as a felon, take care of her legal stuff, had him buy her some meals, and then she was probably like, damn, you know, I'm not feeling this, man. I got my own truck. I got my own apartment. I can do all this for myself and not have to put up with him. And that's exactly what she ended up doing. What I don't understand is she felt so uncomfortable by Andrew, like she kept claiming, then why would you even say yes when he proposed to you? That's what I don't get. Just, you should have at least told him up front, you know, I'm feeling uncomfortable. This is not for me. And at the end of the episode, she was on the phone with her friend that she was supposed to hang out with later. And her friend was like, you know, you got to keep going. We got to keep the plan going. And, you know, Candice ended up getting married not too long after that. So I think that she probably had a plan to get all set up for her and her next relationship she had going on. That she probably had this man in the background the whole time she was with Andrew. Then she was married within like 6 months of her being out of prison, so I'm pretty sure this man was in the picture the whole time. And I almost feel like the only reason she said yes to Andrew was so she could get that engagement ring and go sell it, because she even admitted at the end of the episode that she still had the ring, and when she broke things off with Andrew, she should at least give that back to him. It's only right. And she even admitted, like, look, I milked the man, I used him, but it's his own damn fault because he was stupid enough to let it happen. And if he's going to give me all this stuff and not care, then I'm going to do it. And it's his own fault. I'm pretty much just gaslighting him to feel like it's his fault for being an idiot. Which, I mean, he was naive, but just because someone's easy to take advantage of doesn't mean you should do it. And that karma is going to come around and bite her hard in the butt. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Check out my lashes at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.